Welcome into another episode of the Beach Please podcast. I'm Danielle here with Lenore.
Hi.
Welcome in, everyone. All right, so we have a really fun episode today. So y'all know we are a booking platform, listing platform. We say listing or booking?
Either one.
Either one, listing and booking platform. So we really wanted to talk with a short-term rental owner who self-manages, because we have people on our site that self-manage. So we wanted to hear their knowledge, what it means to self-manage. So we're going to learn all about that today.
Yeah, and he is fully remote. He lives in New Hampshire.
Wow.
So yeah, really want to hear his perspective on how you make that work when you are so far away from your property.
Yeah, and I think this was his first ever property, because he's been a vacationer, he said, so he learned a lot from just being a guest. Now he's the owner, and there's a reason, because of course you have a choice. Do you want to self-manage? Do you want to be a property manager? There's all these things that you got to decide on, and he said self-manage was the way to go, 100%. So we're going to learn what made that 100% for him, and the challenges and how he's overcome them, and just tips really for new short-term rental owners.
Excited to hear his perspective on that.
Yeah, so a lot to learn, and we have to talk about now our featured drink, which I believe if you're a beer drinker, you're going to like this one.
You're going to like this one, and this is a local favorite, and it is from the Grand Strand Brewing Company. So they have a new IPA out called Riptide West Coast. Takes the place of Sandy Cheeks, I believe, was their first one. So this one is a new one. It's a balance of hops and malt, and they use 4 different kinds of hops when they make it. They also use reverse osmosis water when they're making their beers. They have 12 beers on tap, and all of it is made in-house. So if you haven't been to Grand Strand Brewery, it's really cool to see their process and see it all there in person. And they also do flights. So if you want to try a sample of a few of them, please go there and try as many as you want.
Yeah, really good food too. So we had some beer while we were there and some food. Now they also, so if you're like, I'm not a huge beer person, because I asked that question. I was like, what if you're not huge on beer? What would you offer them? I think they have some ciders, right?
Yeah, they had some sours.
Yeah, so I tasted the sour, which, because I'm a sour beer drinker, so they have a sour available. And I think they do have some options for you to try, but they'll let you sample too. Maybe you think you won't like the beer, but then you sample it and you're like, okay, I like beer now.
Yeah, and they actually have liquor there too, which I didn't realize until we were there. I've been there several times, but they do have liquor. They just don't have a shaker or anything like that. So it's got to be a mixer with a juice or something like that.
Soda or something, yeah. But I will say the sour, I wish I could remember the name of the sour I tried, but it was really good. I will say that. And then I know you had the beer. I was kind of scared to taste the IPA.
No, it was good. It was really good. And I've had Sandy Cheeks before. This one is slightly elevated. I like it a lot, so go try it.
Yeah, go have one and
go to bed right after.
You won, and you probably might be taking a nap. Yeah, I still had work to do, so I was a little scared. But I did sample some stuff. Really good place.
They are higher content, alcohol content, so there's a reason for it. But
we like that. So great place, Grand Strand Brewing Company. Make sure you go to check them out. Also in a really fun location, because there's always stuff kind of going on around there.
Yeah,
Nance
concerts. Park always has something, or Plaza. I think it's called Nance Plaza, but they always have live music going on, something going on.
Yep, outdoor seating there as well. So really cool
and
place.
Pet friendly. So bring your dog too.
There you go. All right, we're going to bring in our guest now. Super excited to have him join us.
All right.
Joining us now is our guest, Steve Johnson. He is a short-term rental owner in the Myrtle Beach area. Glad to have you today.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Going to learn a lot from him today. So we're super excited about this interview and what the knowledge we're going to learn from you. First vacation rental property, right?
Yes, first one. Yeah.
Okay, so you've had it for how long?
Coming up on a year and a half.
All right, so let's just dive right into it. Why did you want to get a short-term rental in the Myrtle Beach area?
I love vacations. So me and my wife, I got 2 daughters. We've spent the better part of 10 years traveling the Carolina coast, the whole Florida coast. And I've been a guest 2 or 3 times a year, and it was just time to buy our own. So we looked, and Myrtle Beach is a great market.
Yeah.
You hear the term saturated market. I love that term. That means people are coming to your market.
Yeah.
So I spent many trips on an airplane coming down. We found one in the Carolina forest inside a beautiful gated community, and pulled the trigger.
Okay.
Now was the time. And
So you went the inland route. I'm curious
Yes.
to know, because a lot of people, they're like, they want their place to be oceanfront, as close to ocean as possible. You kind of went a different route. So tell me about that.
I'm on the Intercoastal Waterway.
Okay,
So I'm still
perfect.
on the waterway.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want to be right in the middle of all the action.
Mhm.
I like, taking my kids and my families on vacation. I didn't want to be right in the heart of that. I wanted to give the option of being 5 or 10 minutes from the beach, 5 or 10 minutes from maybe the college, the Ripken experience. There's so many things around me that, I didn't want to just put myself in one spot.
Yeah.
So again, we still have the water. We got the beautiful Intercoastal Waterway with the dock,
Yeah, that's
resort
gorgeous.
amenities, indoor, outdoor pools, sports courts. So I have all of that.
And it's called, when you're looking it up online, it's called the Waterway Retreat.
Yeah,
That is
okay. Waterwayretreat.com is our website. That's
Okay.
our direct booking website. There's tons of information on there, things to do in the area. There's blogs. I spent a lot of time on it. Very happy with it. We're also on all the OTA booking sites. So
Okay.
You're self-managing, correct?
100%
All right.
self-managing.
We got to know, because obviously that's a decision you make. Are you going to self-manage, or are you going to have someone else manage your properties? Tell me how you made that decision.
I went back and forth for quite a while. Throughout the many months it took looking at the properties, finding the property, I talked to most of the big rental companies in the area, even some of the big national ones. Some had great things to say. Some you could read through some of them pretty easily and realize, it wasn't a good fit. But at the end of the day, I wanted to own the guest experience. A lot of these still required me to have my own cleaners, have my own maintenance team. But the only thing I couldn't do was communicate if there was a guest issue. I could solve the issue, but I couldn't jump ahead and fix it. I couldn't even respond to a lot of my own reviews. So a lot of that was a reason, and I knew going into this that, I may not make as much money this first year, the second year, because it was a learning curve, and I was okay with that. I've been doing it a year and a half, and I don't regret it for a second. I would self-manage every time.
Okay, so what are some things to know then, if you're up in the air right now, or maybe you haven't self-managed yet, but you want to go that route,
Sure.
and you're like, okay, I want to start doing that. I mean, what do you need to know if you're an owner?
Systems. It's all about your systems, your teams, your cleaning team, maintenance contracts. I do have a property management software that I use, which helps me automate a lot of what I do. Guest messaging, rental contracts, that's all handled. So, I think that, once you get your systems in place, once you figure out what's working, what's not working, and it's a learning curve. It took me, well, I'm still learning. It took me a long time because this is always evolving.
You're fully remote. That's not easy to have a system in place when you live up in the New England area
Yeah, I'm in New Hampshire.
and your property is down here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
So if I were a person that was like, I'm really interested in self-managing myself, but how do I get that system in place? How did you go about doing that?
A lot of it was just trial and error. Finding the cleaning team, I thought that was going to be easy. The Myrtle Beach, there's hundreds of cleaners. I thought piece of cake, and
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. When we purchased the property, we closed. We spent a week here. We lined up interviews with many, many cleaners. Many didn't show up. Many didn't communicate. Now that was shocking. That was like, so we found some cleaners, and it worked. But then there was some things that we, had to go elsewhere and find new cleaners. The ones we got now is fantastic. They've been with us since the middle of March. I'm actually going from here over there to see the new shop. And she has her systems in place, and that's what's working. She's got a verification process, an inspection process, multiple cleaners, check sheets, apps I can use. And that makes all the difference. I can be 900 miles away, open up my app, see that it's being cleaned, have pictures, see every detail. I don't have to ask the questions, and her communication is lightning fast. I'll say, that's huge being remote.
Yeah.
I can't send a text and wait. I still have a W-2 job. I still have, a lot of responsibility at home. I can't wait, and it's lightning fast.
You can give a shout out. Well, who's your cleaning company?
Sharon with Lemon Fresh Cleaning.
There
So
we go, right there. So you have cleaning company. I know maintenance is another big part of it. Do you
Yes.
have a maintenance team, a maintenance person?
Yes and no. I have a contract with Vines Plumbing.
Okay.
My very first guest, it was last January, February. Let me back up a step. When we purchased the property, it came turnkey. fully furnished. Everything was there. We did some light touch-ups, new linens and this and that. But the one thing I did do was I put a brand new HVAC system and a brand new hot water tank. I didn't want that call. You know, I wanted to know that my guests are comfortable, they're taken care of. My very first guest, very first night, I wake up to, we don't have hot water. I'm like, wonderful. So I called Vines Plumbing, you know, and instantly they were there. Like you could just tell right away. You know, and they're a big company in the area. You know,
Yeah,
they're great. I've used them 2 or 3 times for emergency calls. Since then, I signed up for a contract now. I have a maintenance plan with them. They come out twice a year, full HVAC cleaning, once a year, full plumbing inspection, 24/7 on call. And I also have a local gentleman that comes around once a month, changes my HVAC filter, batteries, and light bulbs.
Mm.
And that was probably my biggest, I don't want to say headache, but you know, it's you can find people to fix your big issues. Finding people to fix the small stuff is very difficult. So I was flying down every couple months just to do those basic things. Change an
Wow.
HVAC filter, you know, a light bulb, you know, just check this stuff. And again, he's made a comment on Facebook, you know, does anybody need this service? And I jumped all over it. And it's worked well, you know, and then months like this to where I come down, I just send him a message, you know, I got it this month, I'm good, and he moves on. But it's those kind of things that I had to find. You know, they weren't available to me right away. You know, I thought they would be. I thought finding a cleaner easy, finding a handyman easy. They were not easy.
So that's the biggest thing, I guess, is finding the right people, realizing that like the resources are out there. You just gotta kind of do
Yes.
your research, I would say, right?
Yes. I mean, people, you know, when it comes to cleaners, like I said, I finally went to social media. I went to Facebook and I asked just a basic question. You know, I wanted owners to recommend a cleaner. You know, because if you ask for a recommendation from a cleaner, every cleaner is going to recommend themselves, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. I'm sure there's hundreds of fantastic cleaners, but not being here, not being able to go inspect my property once a week or every turn, I had to know. So I just reached out and I asked a question, and I got some great feedback from owners, and Sharon was one of them. You know, Sharon came highly recommended. When I came down in March, she came over. We walked and talked, and you know, showed her the property, and since then it's been great. You know.
Let's talk about getting your place ready for bookings. Okay, so you get the property, you close on it. Now you have to make sure it is rental ready so no huge crazy issues might happen at the start, that you want to get that checklist.
Yes.
What all do you need to be looking out for that maybe you're not thinking about?
That's great. Like I said, we purchased a condo that was already in the short-term rental market.
Mhm.
So it had a lot of things already done for us. What was big to me was standing out. I have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, you know, in a gated community. There's a lot of us out there. So I had to do something or look at my property from this perspective of the guest, you know, as I'm scrolling the OTAs or sites and say, you know, what would make a guest stop on my property? To me, that was big. You know, I mean, it was beautiful. It was clean. It was immaculate, but I had to bring some color into it. So we did a little decorating. We brought some color in. We freshened up the linens. Photography is huge,
Yeah.
huge. A lot of people, and they still do it. They'll take their own photos, or they'll price shop photos. I don't care what it costs you, you know. And don't just take one set of photos and be done with it. I've had 2 or 3 different people come through and 2 or 3 different shots, and I've used photos from both because some may hit this area well, some may have better drone footage, some may have, you know, just better staging. You know, short-term rental, you know, photography is an art in its own. It's not real
Yeah,
estate
it's not
photography.
for
It's
amateurs,
nope,
that's for sure.
nope.
Someone like me would not do
Right.
the same as someone like Daniel or Michelle.
Yeah, because I think that's the main thing, is get it done professionally.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
don't do it yourself.
No. Do it, and like I said, it's always evolving. So always go back and reevaluate listing, reevaluate your
Mhm.
property. You know, every time I go into my property, the first thing I do is look at it from the guest perspective. You know, even though it's only been 2 months since I've been here, you know, I drop my bags and I don't touch nothing until I look at everything. And just look at it from the guest perspective. You know, how does the bedding look? How does the pillows look? How do my towels look? You know, are my toiletries set up correctly? And then you go through the maintenance side of it. You know, the toilet's flushing good. You know, are my drains acting appropriately? You know, any cobwebs that are not supposed to be? And you know, you always got to look at it that way. You know, from me, the guest perspective. I love hospitality. I love families that come down on vacation. I got a guest book. The guy, you know, they sign it. I love that. And
Yeah. How are you advertising? So when you got started, did you do? What are you doing differently now?
so I'm on all the OTAs, most of them. There's one or two that I chose not to be on. Got on them early, wasn't happy with customer service and stuff, so I got off of them. I have my own direct site. That's evolved as well. I built my own the first time. It was good, not great, and then I realized I need a better website, so I had it professionally done, and now it's very well. There's a lot of other people out there, a lot of other companies are starting up, and they've got other platforms out there that they're building. I've met some great people that I'm on their platforms now. Yep.
You're looking at two great people
Yep.
right now.
That was going to be my next question. Is obviously we have the bigger sites, the OTAs,
Yes.
but a lot more people want you to book direct now. And I
Yes.
think guests, once they do it, they want to book direct, because I know our platform, we get rid of the booking fee, right? We want you to have more money for your vacation.
Yes.
So talk about that a little. Why direct booking and going to the owner makes a huge difference.
There's two sides, and I look at it from a guest perspective. Some guests don't want to save the money; they want the peace of mind of going to the big OTAs, and I'm fine with that. That's why I'm not going to get off the OTAs. But then there's a guest that they know what they want, and if your systems are in place and you're a legit website, and your website will say if it's not, you can tell. Then yeah, they can save all those platform fees. I mean, and I don't even know if they realize what they're paying for platform fees, because they hide them so much nowadays. I know what they're paying. I know what I'm paying, and it's a lot, and it's, 10, 15, 20, 25%, like you said, that's more for your vacation, and in today's market, the economy, the gas prices, every bit helps. So, the more we can direct to the direct booking sites, I've got QR codes in the condo. I've got, I collect emails. I send out email campaigns. Return guests always get, a little VIP discount, if they want to come back. And, you love that, especially when they come back. That's the biggest compliment I think any host can get, is when somebody wants to come back to your property.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think one of the goals, at least for me, with VRMB Owner Direct is I want the owner to be so successful they don't need OTAs.
Right.
They have the same families coming back year after year, and your calendar is booked
Yes.
because of that guest relationship. You talk a lot about the guest experience. What's your background in? Do you have a background in hospitality, or is it just strictly you've been a guest and?
I guess it's kind of where I grew up. I grew up in Northwest Florida, in Destin, Florida.
Okay.
There you go.
Very big right now.
Yeah.
30A, Panama City.
Uh-huh.
But when I grew up there, it wasn't what it is today. Nobody even heard of Destin. So,
Right.
but there were people in that area that did. So I grew up working in and around hospitality, which is why I love it. I mean, like I said, I love beaches, I love vacations, I love it when families can come and make memories, or it's, mother-daughter trips or golfing trips. So to me, that's why I do what I do. Everything else is kind of secondary to that experience.
So what are the personal touches that you're doing that are standing out, that are different?
I make sure that they have a clean place.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. That you may not have the best, the biggest, the most amenities, the most beds, but give the guests what they expect, and that's honest. Make it look like what your pictures look like.
Yeah.
Don't stage it to look otherwise. Make your listing, describe your property, and then give them a nice clean property. Give them the little stuff, the amenities. We're on the Intercoastal Waterway. I supply fishing rods. I have beach chairs.
Nice.
And they're all nice. They're all new. I don't wait for them to wear out. I replace them 6 months, a year. Pool towels, because I've been on vacation and you get there and there's no pool towels.
Yeah, you have a napkin that type of thing, and you're like, what am I going to do with this?
And then, before I can even go and enjoy the pool with my family, they go and I go to the store and I go buy beach towels.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if I know about it, that's fine. Like if and I am one that when I go on vacation, I read the listing top to bottom. I want to know if I've got a Keurig or a Mr. Coffee, and kind of what am I walking into, and I don't, I put that out there so my guests don't have to ask, whether it's a picture or the words, because I've done this for a long time as a guest, so I know what guests look for, what they don't look for.
Yeah.
You wanted to connect more with your guests,
Yes.
which is a big reason you went the self-managed route. Some owners might want to be fully hands-off, then some want to be like you, hands-on. What are the benefits of the hands-on? That you can talk to these guests, build a relationship with them, they are repeat guests with you.
I think that's the biggest thing in getting the repeat guests and getting that, year-round calendar full from guests coming back. I've rented from many property management companies, and you can tell when you have an engaged owner and when you don't have an engaged owner. It's very clear. You know, you can tell when you're with a property management company, whether they have an engaged owner or not. You can tell when it's a property management company, and that's not what I wanted. You know, I wanted to go into this and being able to, you know, and I understand there's going to be not everything's going to be good. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be bumps, and I want to be able to solve them, or at least be the face that's okay. This is, you know, this is mine. You know, I'll fix it. I'll communicate it. You know, I don't over communicate. You know, my guests are there. They're there, but they know they can reach me at any moment.
Do you have some examples? I'm curious. And you don't have to say anything, but when you can tell versus not tell, like you can tell, okay, I'm directly speaking with this owner, or you can tell I'm speaking with someone that's probably never stepped foot on this property. Like, is there things that
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean,
tell?
we went on vacation last summer to Florida,
Mhm.
Naples, beautiful area. Um, I rented a nice house with a pool, you know, center town. And as soon as I got there, you could tell just the quality of the house. You know, and the stuff I was seeing, you couldn't see in pictures, but the vents for the AC had dust on them. That speaks volumes to me. You know, the carpet was a little worn. Um, and coming to find out, it was managed. You know, because I spoke with the owner on the phone. There was the toilet had a hiccup there. No big deal. That happens. He lived in New York, and you could tell that his uncle was the one that took care of that stuff. And I don't feel like he was getting great information from his uncle. You know, and
Interesting.
yeah, I did reach out owner to owner after the fact, you know, because, you
Yeah.
know, just to give him a heads up, you know, and I just made it simple, you know, maybe you just need to, you know, swing down and see your property. You know, you could tell it had been a while since he had been there.
Yeah. And you don't know what he's being told
Right.
or not told, what he knows might not know.
Right.
So that's another
Yep.
thing. You just don't.
Right.
Yeah.
you
No,
only
that
know what you're
feedback
told.
is important for
Mhm.
sure.
What are some challenges maybe that you've seen, you've had to deal with, that you have overcame? So not to scare you, but it's like, hey, this might happen, but there is a solution for it.
The bookings, the understanding how the bookings work, how your reservations work. When do they come in? When do they not come in? That's was the biggest hiccup, you know, because you think it's easy. You give a perfect product, you optimize your listing, you take your pictures, and then it's supposed to fill up the calendar. It's supposed to book. That's what it's supposed to
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
That's not always the case. You know,
Mhm.
I learned, you know, about 50% of my bookings come in advance, and about 50% are last minute. You know, and we're in a
Yeah.
market to where I could get, you know, I've had them literally that day, you know, booked for 4 or 5 days. So that was my biggest, you know, thinking something's wrong when in reality there's nothing wrong. That's how the market works. You know,
That's
you'll
good
go through
information.
periods, you know, you'll go through periods of time to where you'll see more cancellations than others. You know, and you just have to look at the economy. Just look at, you know, where we at, you know. I went through a rash and I could tell I filled up my calendar quite a bit and I could tell it was tax season. People were getting their refunds, calendars
Mhm.
filling up. That's great. And then
Mhm.
it got slow, understandable. You know, sporting, we deal with a lot of sporting events, cheer competitions.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of my last minute bookings. You know, they'll come in for 2 or 3 days and, you know, they like what we offer because we're in a little gated community. We've got the washer dryer. They like that for sporting events. I'm less than 3 miles from the Ripken Experience. I got the college 9 miles away. So
Mhm.
we have a lot of those families that book last minute. You know, trips are coming. Oh, kids are coming home from school. You know, I want to swing down and see them for parents' weekend. So we get a lot of that.
Yeah. As an owner in your photos, what are some of the things you're showing to grab that attention when people are looking to book and they're like, "Ooh, that one looks nice."
The amenities help.
Yeah.
The amenities help. The color. When we brought color into the pictures, you know, we had a really nice. It was a lot of whites, a lot of grays, a lot of blues. We added some coral. We added color. It just made it pop. You know, and I didn't want to show anything that wasn't real. You know, my couches. You know, the kitchen, the washer and dryer. You know, the things that matter. You know, and then you add in the nice little, you know, touches. You know, I got a nice balcony. You know, overlooking some nice scenery. You put, you know, just a wine glass, a book.
Mhm.
You know, show them what they could be experiencing.
Yeah. Because if they see it in the photo, they're going to expect it to
Yes.
be there. So if you're doing your photos and you're like, should I stage it? Well, if you're going to stage something, then it has to be available for
Yes.
them to use
Yes.
while they're there. I think
Yep.
that's the biggest thing. The
100%.
photos need to be
Yeah.
accurate.
Yeah. Don't show me a Versace dinner set
Right.
and then you're giving me Corel or something.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
A lot of marketing now is done on social media too. So I feel like more owners are going to social media for, you know, questions, tips, even like people are looking on Facebook like for their vacation now. So are you on, is there like good groups for owners that y'all should be on?
Facebook has fantastic ones. I
Yeah.
mean, there's too many for me to mention, but I've gotten so many valuable contacts and connections with Facebook. Um, just the ins and outs. Social media is huge. I have a Facebook site. I have Instagram and TikTok. I'm not as up to speed on that, but I got some daughters and a wife that is. So
Yeah.
they kind of help me with that. I'm down
Right.
here taking videos during this trip, so we can go
Okay.
back and edit and learn that. And
So you have a Facebook site for the actual property?
yeah, Waterway Retreat has its own Facebook site.
What's it? What's the handle?
Waterway Retreat.
Oh,
Just
really?
Waterway
Just
Retreat.
Waterway.
Yep.
Okay.
That's so cool.
I know I see a lot of people that are advertising like their short-term rental on Facebook. I have these weeks available. Are you finding traction with that?
No,
It seems very saturated.
yeah, I've ran ads on Facebook. I haven't gotten anywhere with that.
Yeah.
I do find I can get traffic to my direct booking site through the blogs that I post and push through my
Mhm.
socials. So I got blogs created for, Ripken for, things to
Yeah.
do near the Myrtle Beach State Park and
SEO
stuff.
type
Exactly.
thing.
So I've realized that, building them through the website, pushing them through my socials can drive organic traffic back to the website. So I found that. But as far as just, and I do it, we all do it, somebody puts up there looking for, July
Yeah.
4th week, who's open, you put it out there. And, but I feel like those people too are looking for, they know what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So instead of just going and finding it, they're asking the question, and we'll all put our stuff out there, but I haven't received much from that.
Yeah.
Was it the website? Was it easy to put together, or was that challenging for you?
I built my own website. I was very happy with that.
Okay.
Again, a lot of this, I was learning a lot, and I wanted to learn every aspect of this business.
Yeah.
That's the big reason I wanted to, aside from owning the guest experience, I wanted to learn this business inside and out from day one. And I knew I needed a direct booking website. I knew I had to go that route for my repeat guests. So I built my own, and I was very happy with it. But then I realized, again, it's always evolving. Everything's always evolving. So I reached out. I found a freelancer, and he just does it on the side, and he built me a fantastic website, some advertising stuff, and a logo and all that. And from there, it's just it's definitely a brand. It's
Yeah.
not just a guest experience. Now the guests can refer back to the website, show their friends, show their families.
So are the pros outweighing the cons for you then? When
100%.
it all 100%,
100%.
you would, if someone comes to you or post in a group, self-manage or property manager question mark?
So that's happened quite a bit over the last few months, and I've made some great contacts. I'm talking to a lot of people right now, and it's actually kind of turned into more of a consulting than just conversation. And some of it's just conversations, but I've got a lot of folks I'm working with right now that are remote. They don't live here. Some do self-manage right now, but are just kind of in it and don't know how to get comfortable, don't know how to get their systems in place. I've got others that are tied into property management companies they're not happy with, and they're working harder now than they would be if they hadn't been with property management companies, but unfortunately they're stuck. So I've been working with a lot of them and just, walking them through kind of, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying everybody can self-manage.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to want to communicate with the guests, want to handle these situations, want to put your systems in place, get your SOPs together. But if you're willing to do that, it's absolutely doable. Especially I'm remote and I can do it.
Yeah.
If I was anywhere here, it's absolutely doable.
I feel like it's got to be rewarding too,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
Like, what are some things that you're like, okay, this has paid off? Like
The
you,
reviews.
yeah,
The reviews. When you
Yeah.
get that review, and the reviews that the public sees are fantastic. The private reviews that they send you attached to that is amazing. It's amazing, and my guidebook too, like the first thing I look at when I drop my bags is the guidebook.
yeah,
Who's been here since I was here? And I just looked at one I had, it's the beginning of April, and the family orders our first family trip. We loved it. Thank you. And the little kid traced his hand, and I love that stuff. Like that's a memory made.
Yeah, you're
And
making
that's-
core memories.
yeah.
That's the biggest reward I can get from all this. And my family, my kids get to come and use it. My wife, we get a property that I get to work hard for, to give the guests their experience. And at the same time, the reward for me is my family gets to use it.
Yeah. How often are y'all using it?
A lot. It's hit or miss. I use it for them. They come down probably 2 or 3, 4 times a year. I come down a little bit more, but I work most of the time I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm not using it as
You
much.
don't
I
list.
work a lot down
Yeah.
here.
You're not actually vacationing.
Right,
You're working.
right, yeah,
It
maybe-
takes like 1 week to just do a vacation and
Yeah.
be a vacationer in your property. Where can people find you? I know you said you got a Facebook page.
Yes, Facebook
You're
is
on all the OTAs.
All of that.
TikTok, Instagram. I'm there.
Eventually, start posting more. That's what he's gonna go do TikToks after
I will,
this.
I
It's
will.
fine. Waterway Retreat. Okay, well, we know that you're still getting to know the Myrtle Beach area, but we're still going to play our little game just to see. Like, you never know. He might say something that we're like, whoa, what? um, okay, so we have like a million seafood buffets and steakhouses here. If you were to go to one, which one would you choose?
I may mispronounce the name.
That's
okay.
totally
Is
fine.
it Nuances?
I'll be honest, I don't even know how to pronounce it.
I've
Okay.
never heard of it.
Me either.
We were
Where
there
is that
back
at?
in July. It was down on the main road. My daughter she wanted the seafood buffet for her birthday. It was fantastic. We loved it. But we haven't gotten to too many seafood buffets. As far as if you want fish tacos, I'll put the Boathouse out there.
Okay.
Fish tacos are fantastic.
So that would be probably. So we do ask a question, like a restaurant you would defend with your life. Would that be Boathouse?
I'll give it that. That's a good one.
Boathouse is your
Yeah.
go. Okay, so Boathouse. I feel like I never knew about Boathouse when I came here as a vacationer. I learned about it as a local.
It's a local, yeah.
So you have now learned about it. Okay, so tell me what you've liked about it so far. Like, what is it about the Boathouse?
The food's fantastic. The price is fantastic. You can tell it's a local place. It was recommended to me on an airplane while I was flying down to look at this property. And I checked out. It's a mile from the condo, so it's convenient. It's on the water. They have concerts. They have shows. It's big. So even the parking lot's a little small, but the restaurant itself is big.
Yeah.
They have outdoor seating, indoor seating.
Yeah, it really is a great place. And there's Sunday Fun Day, which is like where I started to go. Like, it's just fun.
Their
Like,
food's amazing
the food's
too.
good.
I mean,
The owners are
it's one
cool.
thing to have a view. We have how many miles of ocean?
Right.
I can get a view anywhere, but the food's got to be good.
Yes.
And at the Boathouse, like I love their salads, which I know it sounds like you could choose anything, but I'm telling you, the Boathouse salad it kills
If you're
every
feeling
time.
if you're feeling healthy, there you go.
Yeah,
They got a
like
good
they
salad.
do. It's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, great place. I love that you brought that place up because I mean, some people might not know about it, so it is a really, really great spot.
Yeah.
So if you're a vacationer and you're looking for a local,
And you want a good salad.
there you go. Let's see if this one might work. Instantly tells you someone is a tourist.
Oof. Honestly, and this is no matter where you go. If you're wearing a Myrtle Beach hat, you're a
Okay.
tourist.
Okay.
I mean, that's to me,
Swag,
that's the
swag.
go-to. Yes, if you're wearing them, if you're
you're
in Myrtle
wearing the
Beach,
brand.
if you're in Myrtle Beach wearing Myrtle Beach, you're a tourist.
Okay, there you go. So have you seen something that just screams Myrtle Beach to you? You're like, yeah, that's very Myrtle Beach right there.
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean,
know.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is just a Ferris wheel.
Okay.
I mean, that's just when you see that, there's nothing else. You got the Ferris wheel.
Mhm.
No, I think that's my go-to.
Yeah,
Yes.
What's a favorite place that I know this is one of your questions?
You're
but I'm
good.
curious. What is a favorite thing that your daughters like to do when they come down?
The beach.
Yeah.
The beach. I have Myrtle Beach State Park Pass or the South Carolina State, and I give
Oh,
that to my
nice.
guests as just a
Oh,
complimentary.
nice.
Because some guests just like to not go to the main beaches, have a little quieter, better parking.
Yeah.
We love the beach. They love the shark teeth on the
Okay.
beach. I like to fish. They like the beach. We suntan.
There you go.
And how far? So from your place, what's the driving time? to
About
the
20
beach?
minutes.
Okay.
Well, no, to the Myrtle Beach. I'm about 20 minutes State Park. I'm maybe 12 minutes
Just to get to the actual.
just to get to the
like,
actual beach.
ocean.
About 10 to 12
Okay.
minutes. Yep.
So we asked this one too, but with you being a vacation rental owner, so we say gatekeep the spots, local spots, or recommend them. Obviously, people probably ask you for recommendations. You're going to tell them, right?
Yes.
So they're asking like, oh, where should we eat? Like, where should we do this? What are some top recommendations you're giving people as an owner?
The Carolina Roadhouse is good.
Yep.
Nice steak. You can make reservation. I go to open table
Mhm.
to make your reservations
Mhm.
because if you don't, you're going to wait in line.
Yeah.
That's great. Manny's subs. If you just want a good big sub,
I've never been there.
Manny's Deli. Oh,
Yeah.
that was probably the
I love a
Hearing a
sub.
lot about them lately. They've been around for a while,
yes,
though.
yes, highly recommend. In a little strip plaza, a little strip mall.
Yeah.
But you
and it's
can
over
tell.
by you too. It's over by your.
Is it near me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check it out because I'm a
I
sub
do
person.
lunch
So
there.
I got
Yeah.
yeah. Listen, I get my routines and go to my like places, and once you get a place you like, you just continue to go
Yes.
there.
Yes.
But we have so many restaurants here. Like I have so many to try.
Yeah.
So, any other ones?
I think those are my biggest. Those kind of covers all my bases.
Yeah. See, as a local, I just got a recommendation. So there you go.
go.
Now I'm like, okay, now I have a sub place. I gotta go because I'm a sub girl.
I would check out Manny's,
That's
and you
sub,
can tell when
girl.
he comes from behind the counter. You can tell you're going to get a great sub before he even makes a sub.
What's your go-to sub at Manny's?
Ooh, Italian.
Yeah.
An Italian.
You got to know how to make an Italian.
Okay, yeah. If you're
Okay.
saying they're Italian, because I'm picky about Italian
Yes.
subs. Some places don't make them right.
All right. Now it's on you when we go to
Yeah.
lunch.
I got one for you then. Recommend a pizza place. Give me your top pizza place.
So when I I live on like the South Strand now, but when I used to live on the other end, I really liked AJ's
Okay.
pizza. But it depends where you are, right? Like what's the closest drive? I mean, where I am now, there's one that just opened. I think it's called it Francesca's, something like that. It's brand new, but that's in like the Surfside area.
Okay.
But AJ's Pizza was my like first love of pizza.
I'm checking it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
What about you?
Me, I'm a Geno's girl. So Gino. That's over there in Carolina Forest. I think they just opened one over by Garden City, and they have one in North Myrtle.
Okay.
Love Geno's. And then also in Myrtle Beach, Michael's Pizza.
I've had that. Michael's is good. Yep.
Yeah, he makes one that is stuffed, a stuffed
Ooh.
pizza. It's amazing. Like it's like a calzone pizza, but it's so the crust is thin. Really good.
Nice.
You got to try it.
Definitely.
All right. Well,
Thank
now
you.
I'm hungry, and we are filming very close to lunchtime here. I'll tell you that. See, we appreciate you,
Thank you.
Yeah.
coming in today, sharing all your knowledge about all that, and yeah.
Thank you. It's
so
great
much.
being here. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
appreciate your time and knowledge. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Awesome to have him here on the Beach Please podcast, and that's going to do it for this episode. Of course, we'll see y'all next time.
Bye.